Hi, here are some perspectives I took away from Scarface, the 1983 crime drama directed by Brian De Palma, scripted by Oliver Stone and starring Al Pacino in the title role. Although it is based on the rise and fall of a drug dealer, the film contains a number of redeeming lessons. The film is also a commentary on capitalism and its negative influence on our society. If Scarface was simply a story about a Cuban drug dealer, the film would not be relevant and influential to a generation that wasn't even born when it came out. Considered ultra-violent for its time, Scarface is tame compared to films made since then. But what makes this film resonate are the layers beneath the violence, which I will now look at. Thinking outside the box. Sometimes mitigating circumstances influence the choices we make. If you restrict or block access to the American dream to an entire group of people, a special type of person with a special type of determination, willing to resort to whatever means, good or bad, will realize the American dream by brute force. The movie shows the importance of resourcefulness and thinking out of the box. There is more than one way to do anything. Tony Montana has everything going against him, from being an ex-con. On top of that, he's a refugee, and on top of that, he doesn't have much education. But despite all of his shortcomings, he goes from being a dishwasher to the top of the cocaine underworld in Miami by following the same principles that apply to any other business. Decadence. The Babylon Club is appropriately named. In the Bible, Babylon is described as a whore. In the context of this film, the idea of Babylon being a whore is meant to suggest how far Tony and others will go to gratify their desires. Babylon is also synonymous with hedonism and excess. Early in the film, Frank tells Tony that a hazar is someone who wants more than what he needs, or a pig that don't fly straight. Money and cocaine in this film are two sides of the same coin, as both are shown in excess amounts, from Tony depositing duffel bags full of money in the bank to the piles of cocaine on his desk. When Tony gives Gina $1,000 to go out and have fun, the money, like the cocaine in the film, transforms her into a completely different woman. In a bigger sense, the Babylon Club is also a metaphor of capitalism and the moral decline of civilization. Principles. The fact that he has a criminal record, has very little education, is a Hispanic male, and has that obvious scar on his face makes Tony Montana the perfect fall guy. He has nothing to hide behind, such as a bank or a badge or a car dealership or a political title. In a superficial world where appearance is everything, Tony might as well be the devil. But throughout the film, he is honorable and stands by his principles. Even facing jail time for tax evasion and war with Sosa, he refuses to go against his principles by killing a woman and her children, which ends up costing him his life. Fronts. Bankers, politicians, and cops are all indirectly involved in the cocaine industry in this film. These unholy alliances are also struck in real life. For instance, in 2005, the CIA declassified a document from the department's chief of clandestine operations admitting the agency's involvement with the mafia to assassinate Fidel Castro. Being a poor Latino male with a criminal background, Tony fits the stereotype of a drug dealer contrasted against those in society such as cops, politicians, bankers, businesses, etc., who are also drug dealers. John Daniel Ehrlichman, who worked as a special counsel under President Nixon, admitted in a 1994 interview that President Nixon's administration deliberately vilified blacks and hippies by associating them with illegal drugs. Innocence. To Tony, Gina represents innocence and something that hasn't been contaminated. She is the opposite of Elvira. The fact that Elvira can't bear children is a metaphor for the innocence she has lost. The American Dream. Materialism is the American dream in this film. For example, there's a split screen shot showing Tony and Manny in the sandwich in the sandwich kitchen on one side and a nightclub, beautiful women and fancy cars on the other side. Seeing this scene from their standpoint is a microcosm of what everyone who lives in poverty sees looking at the good life as it's shown on television. By the second half of the film, Tony has, quote unquote, made it and sees things for what they really are. He sees Elvira without her makeup, as a junkie and an alcoholic who can't have children. He has no real friends, and he can't sleep a night or trust anybody. These are just some of the perspectives that I wanted to share with you that I got out of looking at Scarface. And if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you would give me a like. And also in the description, there is a link going to my blog where I have other film-related material that you could read, such as the one that I just read just now. Again, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you next time.